Hey guys, it's Trevor Laird here, and we are coming to you from Starbase, Texas. Now, the reason for this is because we're going to be reviewing the Fintap app today, and I thought this was actually a really interesting crossover. Right behind me, we have the leading edge of technology for space travel for the entire world. They take risks, they take chances, they're rapid prototype, and this is very, very similar to Fintap. It's always changing. So what we're going to do with all the new features that have been coming out is a review of everything that has to do with the app, from the basics to the advanced, and all of the new exciting features. So let's jump into that right now. Now, the first thing we're going to do is open the app up. It comes to this nice splash screen that shows you a quick bit of information that makes it easier for you to understand everything happening within the app. So at the top, you have your little picture. It shows you your address on the EON network. It also has some nice little tabs here that when you click them, it shows you different new features that are coming up and gives you some information that might be helpful when you first jump in to understand how the basics of the app works. Now, if you missed any of those, you can always scroll across here at the top bar and click one again, and it will bring it right back up. Now, another cool little feature you may notice is the little QR code in the top corner. This is the quick invoicing function. So if you're a shop and you are using Fintap, you can quickly click that icon, and then you could enter in the amount that somebody has to pay. Now, you can choose for multiple cryptocurrencies or dollars. So say we're going to be doing dollars and somebody has to pay you $20 as a merchant. You could basically create that quick invoice, press create invoice, and then boom, somebody can scan that and immediately pay you the exact amount you need. This is very, very easy. If you're a huge shop or a small shop, it just makes it very quick to get paid. Moving down from there, we have the total balance that's available inside your current wallets combined. Now, you can have this display in cryptocurrency or in your own fiat currency. It really depends on your personal preference. Below that, we have something really neat. It's called the Quick Apps function. You can see mine has history, invite friends, and receive to get paid, but you can click the More tab, and you can actually edit which ones that you have in there. So it really depends on you, what you use. So say I'm not going to invite a lot of friends or use chat, I can get rid of that. Say I want to do a lot of exchanges more often, I can add that into my quick tab area, contacts, operations, anything like that. We have this amazing ability to kind of customize Fintap for whatever we need. Now, of course, if we go back to our main page, we're going to have those new selections on there. And that actually brings us to one of our brand new features, which in the invoicing, we can have donations. Now, if we go into the donations tab now, we can actually create a donation link and copy it right to our clipboard and put that right, you could have that on your website, connected to buttons. You could have it in a link for your charity. There's lots of different features that you can use to have those donations and allow people to pay you in whatever cryptocurrency that they desire. On the same trend, let's look at the invoices. So if we click onto invoices now, what we're going to see is those demo invoices that we made earlier, but we could also create a new invoice. Now, this one's a little bit different than the quick invoice, which just allowed us to put in a dollar amount. This one we could select, let's say we're going to do Ethereum. So this is where it gets really neat, because we could put in a subject like new Bitcoin miner, and say we're all going to go in on one of these expensive miners. So we could split it up with everything, with everyone. We could pay as well, and we could add the participants. And the more participants that we add, the equal division of that payment it will make, and that will send it out in the chat, which we'll look at in the future. Now, after you actually create one of these paid invoice groups, you can actually go into groups, and that's where it's going to appear, and you can see the status of who's paid, who hasn't paid, and everything like that. Now, you also have the ability in the Invoices tab to kind of modify how everything looks. You could have your business name in there. You have your merchant ID, which is going to be connected to all of your merchant functions. You could also have not your public name shown and just have your business name. And you can choose what your settlement currency that everyone pays is. So say you had people paying in a multitude of different cryptocurrencies to fulfill their portion of that bill, you can do that and have it all settle in Bitcoin or USD or anything you want. This is a massive feature for most businesses and even some people. Now, of course, these quick apps that appear on your main screen aren't the only way to access these functions, but it does make it so you can set up a very quick way to use what you're most familiar with or what you use the most right on your main screen without having to go into these separate sectional tabs of the application. For example, we want to do some simple stuff when we go into our apps most of the time. So we're either sending or receiving, or we're going into our chats or checking our wallet. So on this page, we can click receive. You can say I'm going to receive fiat or crypto, and it's going to open up the different tabs to do that. Or if we're sending, the same thing. Are we sending to a Fintap user, which if we're doing that, we're going to get very, very, very low fees, or an external system and an external blockchain where the app has to calculate, for Ethereum, it has to calculate the gas that's going to take to do that. So moving down, we have the exchanger. That's basically a very quick way on the main page to exchange either fiat for fiat or crypto for fiat or vice versa in lots of different patterns. And it's going to give you an exact quote of what it's going to cost to use the external or external blockchains. And it's just a very easy way to exchange cryptocurrency within the application. So let's give it a quick try. I have a tiny amount of Bitcoin in this wallet, so we're going to try to change that for Ethereum. We're going to actually choose to say all of our Bitcoin we want to change for Ethereum. We press confirm, and then it's going to give us the details for that, and we press pay. It's going to quickly scan our face. I have to move away from the microphone, and then boom, the transaction is already in progress. Now, next, we're going to move over to what a lot of people are going to use, which is the multi-function cryptocurrency wallet. Now, this wallet is very customizable. You could have the cryptocurrencies that you use most likely in there, and you could add new ones all the time. Or if you receive one, it will create a new wallet for you. Now, as you see, we have a button here to add all of these different cryptocurrencies to our wallet and just slide them in, no problem. That way, it's not so messy. You don't have this huge list of things that you're not going to use. You can really keep it clean and concise. Now, within each wallet, you have a couple of options here. You have exchange, send, and receive as normal, plus your last transactions. Now, below the wallets, you have an investment tab that will be used for future different investments within the ecosystem, and there were some past ones there from the EON network. And then we also have another summation of our last transactions, not just for a single crypto, but for any transaction within the wallet. Now, on any of the screens, you're going to notice a QR code button at the bottom. What that does is it actually just brings up your camera, and then you have the ability to scan a QR code and make a transaction that way. Moving on to the chats tab, this is really, really interesting. We can see right away we have two messages at the top. Now, what these are is the actual system itself telling us about the transaction that we initiated earlier, that exchange. So it's going to say the transaction is initiated, it's being processed, and then when it's complete, it's going to show up right there. Now, what's amazing about this messenger is it runs on the EON blockchain and is, of course, fully end-to-end encrypted. So Exscudo never sees any of your messages or content. What gets really, really neat here is when you actually go into a message, this is one we created as a test earlier, we can actually do a couple things. We could test the message and say, hey, how's it going? And send that off. But one thing we could also do is send them money directly, use our camera, share photos, documents, anything like that, or even share contacts if this is a more business purpose. Now, within the chat, you could also, of course, have group chats like we talked about earlier with the invoices, or just for a team use like that. Sending money is pretty simple. You press send, you go to your wallet, you click it, you select the amount, and then it gets sent off right away, very quickly at very low fees within the Fintap ecosystem. Now, there's also a news bot within there that shows you new features and payment related stuff that comes up from the application itself. Now, the last page is the settings tab. This is not normally too exciting, but we will look at it anyways. So in the settings tab, we can basically have, you can see we have my test version of Fintap here, shows the address, shows the requisites for what you've done for your KYC, how far you are within that. And the most important one that I want to share to make sure, and it will remind you when you set up Fintap the first time, is do an account backup just in case, because your funds cannot be recovered unless you do a backup. And of course, there's a few other settings within here as well. One important thing is you can actually click into the support tab, And then once you have the support tab open, you can chat directly with support and share with them any issues that you have. And finally, if you're curious about the legal status of Exscudo or how it functions, you can go into the About Service tab and go through everything, especially their service level agreement and user policies, as well as the company information and licenses. So yes, guys, that is it. That is Fintap currently, and I hope you enjoyed this in-depth review. Well, guys, it's really exciting times for Exscudo, and I hope you really enjoyed the review of all of the new updates to Fintap. So we're going to end this video by saying, if you have any questions about Fintap, make sure to put them in the comment section below and join us on Telegram. And I'm going to end this video with some B-roll here at SpaceX. They're so bright, man. Like, they're going really quick.